The oceans and seas surrounding the continents hold countless wonders, many of which remain undiscovered by humans. Covering over 70% of the planet's surface, these vast bodies of water are as enchanting as they are mysterious, largely due to their incredible depths. But that's not all. These waters hide some truly fascinating secrets. From mysterious underwater crosses to terrifying creatures, here are 15 of the strangest things ever found by deep-sea divers. Number 15. Crosses of Malpeque. Off the coast of the Canary Islands, divers were horrified when they discovered an underwater graveyard. The most frightening thing of all is that it was not a land-based graveyard that got submerged underwater but a cemetery deliberately placed beneath the sea. The story behind this graveyard takes us back to the 1700s. A Christian missionary was sailing from Portugal to La Palma, one of the Canary Islands. However, during this time, the Canary Islands were an important trading colony, so pirates were roaming the waters. A famous French pirate, Jacques de Sores, caught the boat by surprise and took over the ship. There were 40 men on board the ship, and they ruthlessly decided to dispose of all of them. They were thrown off the boat, and he watched them drown. Over the years, locals whispered of strange occurrences near the site, including eerie lights beneath the water and unexplained sounds echoing from the depths at night. Fishermen avoided the area, believing the souls of the martyrs haunted the waters. Divers who ventured down reported a hauntingly serene view, with the crosses now covered in marine life and surrounded by schools of fish. Some even claimed to feel an unexplainable chill as they approached the graveyard, adding to the site's mystique. This macabre yet beautiful underwater memorial has become a symbolic reminder of sacrifice, faith, and the enduring impact of history. These poor men were named martyrs by Pope Benedict XIV in 1742. 309 years later, the Catholic community went one step further and dropped crosses at where they believed the deaths had occurred. In 2014, a stone cross was also placed at a nearby lighthouse to commemorate their loss. Number 14. Monster Jellyfish. If you're afraid of jellyfish, you might not be too pleased to see our next topic. Deep-sea divers were swimming off the coast of Cornwall in England and were simply stunned by what they saw, a 1.5-meter jellyfish. Diver Lizzie Daly told The Guardian, "We have seen a few smaller jellyfish at a beautiful reef nearby, and then out of the murk came this huge, beautiful jellyfish. You just take a double look and ask yourself if it's actually 1.5 meters long. These are known as barrel jellyfish. Luckily, their sting is not normally harmful to humans, and these fish are more like gentle giants." Daly said if you touched it, you wouldn't feel it. It's that minimal. These jellyfish were a rare sight to behold, but maybe not for too long. Rupert Kirkwood, also known as the Lone Kayaker, wrote on his blog earlier this year, "There are more barrel jellyfish around the coast of southwest England than I've ever seen in 15+ years of sea kayaking. There could be a number of reasons for this. One cause may be that one of its predators is becoming endangered, meaning that it's hunted less often. Another reason is that the seaside of the southwest of England has experienced much nicer weather, meaning that these jellyfish are much more visible in the water. The warmer weather also means that there's been more vegetation and plankton growing in the water, which may have motivated the jellyfish to swim near these waters. Nonetheless, it looks like these guys are here to stay." Number 13. Mystery War Machine. Our next topic takes us to Germany, where scuba divers discovered something from the country's dark past. Scuba divers from the World Wildlife Foundation were trying to take an abandoned fishing net out of the water. At the bottom of the Baltic Sea was an enigma, an encryption machine. This machine was used to send coded messages by Nazi Germany during World War II. The divers took the machine and brought it back to shore. They then gave it to experts to find out more about this machine. Historians believe that this machine was thrown overboard by a German U-boat. The Allied forces were also trying to get their hands on these machines, as they could never uncover what the Germans were communicating with each other. Apparently, the Germans changed the codes of their messages every 24 hours. The discovery of the machine was hailed as a rare and significant find, offering a glimpse into the covert communication tactics of the Nazis. Experts noted that the machine was surprisingly well preserved, with some of its intricate gears and dials still intact despite decades underwater. Restoration teams meticulously cleaned and examined the device, revealing markings that linked it to a specific German naval fleet. This added to the historical value of the find, as similar machines had been systematically destroyed toward the end of the war to prevent them from falling into enemy hands. The machine's recovery provided an opportunity to educate the public about the role of cryptography in shaping the course of World War II. Divers involved in the operation expressed a mix of awe and responsibility, recognizing that they had uncovered a piece of history steeped in both innovation and tragedy. Alan Turing's efforts to crack the Enigma code not only shortened the war but also laid the foundation for modern computing. The machine's rediscovery served as a poignant reminder of the technological and intellectual battles fought alongside military campaigns. Today, It stands as a museum artifact, ensuring that the lessons of history remain visible to future generations. Number 12. Ticking time bombs. Next up, these divers found something which was like a trip back in time. Polish divers were passing through the Baltic Sea and found something truly terrifying. It was a bomb, and they needed to act fast. Not only did the divers need to get back to the shore, but 750 people from the nearby town had to be evacuated. The bomb was from World War II, so specialists needed to travel back underwater and disarm it immediately. This was a bomb developed by the Allies. It's called the Tallboy, or sometimes referred to as the earthquake bomb. It's 6 meters long and weighs 5.4 tons. It was clearly designed to do a lot of damage. It's believed that the British Royal Air Force dropped this bomb in 1945 and tried to sink the German boat known as the Cruiser. This bomb missed the boat and clearly sank to the bottom of the ocean. Divers described the eerie sight of the massive weapon lying in the silt, a stark reminder of the war's destructive power. The bomb's rusted exterior, corroded by decades underwater, only heightened the tension as they worked. To ensure no further risk, a perimeter was established in the water to monitor vibrations or any signs of an unexpected detonation. Engineers carefully planned the defusal process, studying the bomb's complex mechanism and considering its age-related instability. A special robotic arm was used to approach the explosive, minimizing human exposure to danger. To mitigate underwater pressure changes, the disarmament was executed in stages over several days. Even as the remote device defused the bomb, the controlled explosion released a shockwave that disturbed marine life in the surrounding area. Thankfully, no humans were near the danger zone while this happened, and the explosion was not as big as anticipated. This operation was heralded as a major success, showcasing the meticulous coordination between divers, engineers, and local authorities. Number 11. Creepy pyrosomes. But first, we're going to take a look at the pyrosome. A pyrosome is often called the unicorn of the ocean. Rebecca Helm of Deep Sea News spotted it during a dive and said, "I actually gasped in recognition. My first real-life pyrosome." Among many marine-inclined folks such as moi, pyrosomes are like unicorns, completely improbable, utterly mysterious. It's only when you see them up close that you realize just how amazing they are. When looking at these pyrosomes from a distance, it looks just like one singular creature floating through the sea. What you're actually looking at is a colony of different tiny organisms working together, and that's what makes it even more mysterious. How do all of these organisms collectively work together, and why? The reason why is probably quite straightforward. Strength in numbers. If you're a tiny crustacean alone in the ocean, there's a chance that you'll be gobbled up by a bigger fish within a matter of minutes. As a pyrosome, these crustaceans can trick other fish into believing that they're one massive fish, and they'll keep their distance. However, this tactic doesn't always work. In fact, sometimes turtles or tiny lobsters will cling onto the pyrosome so that they can have a continuous source of food and just gently nibble away whenever they're feeling hungry. It wasn't until the divers got up close that they could fully see how the pyrosome worked. At their distance, they could see all of the little sea creatures working together in the colony. All of the different colors together create a purely spectacular vision. The scientist Thomas Huxley famously said, "I've just watched the moon set in all her glory and looked at those lesser moons, the beautiful pyrosoma, shining like white-hot cylinders in the water." Number 10. Invisible sea creature. Scuba divers in New Zealand run the risk of bumping into a fish without noticing, and believe it or not, there are fish out there which are completely see-through. Stuart Fraser, a fisherman who caught the fish, told Metro UK, "I was in two minds whether to haul it in, but curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to take a closer look. It felt scaly and was quite firm, almost jelly-like, and you couldn't see anything inside aside from this orange little blob inside it." Fraser also had no idea what the fish was, but experts have looked at the photos and believe that it's a salpa majori. These bizarre creatures are part of a group known as salps, which are gelatinous animals that float freely in the ocean. Salps are filter feeders, pulling water through their translucent bodies to trap phytoplankton and other tiny particles for food. One of the most fascinating things about salps is their role in carbon sequestration. They consume carbon-rich plankton and send it to the ocean floor through their waste, making them a crucial part of the marine ecosystem. The orange blob inside the salpa majori is actually its nucleus, which contains vital organs and helps control its movements. Salps can reproduce both sexually and asexually, often forming long chains that resemble glowing underwater ribbons. They move by contracting their bodies in rhythmic pulses, which propels them forward while simultaneously filtering water for food. The director of conservation and communication at the National Marine Aquarium told the Daily Mail, "Little is known about these salps. However, they're often found in colder seas, with the most abundant concentration found in the Southern Ocean. Their ability to thrive in nutrient-poor waters makes them an important survival marvel in the deep sea, where resources are often scarce." Number 9. ugliest fish in the world. Our next topic takes us to Japan. Most divers swim through the depths of the ocean to marvel at other creatures. However, one particular Japanese diver swims so he can see an old friend. Hiroyuki Arakawa has had an unlikely 25-year-long friendship. He's best buds with a friendly Asian sheepshead wrasse named Yuriko. Hiroyuki usually greets Yuriko with a kiss on his forehead. When they first met, Yuriko was at death's door, so Hiroyuki even ended up feeding Yuriko 10 crabs a day until he got his health back. It was the start of a beautiful friendship. What's truly fascinating is how this friendship highlights the intelligence of the Asian sheepshead wrasse. These fish are known for their strong memory, which allows them to remember people and interactions for years. Scientists have noted that the wrasse exhibits unique problem-solving skills, often seen manipulating objects in their environment to achieve a goal. Yuriko's bond with Hiroyuki reflects this remarkable cognitive ability, demonstrating that fish are far more perceptive than commonly believed. Hiroyuki often speaks of Yuriko as more than just a fish. He sees her as a true companion who recognizes and appreciates the care he provided. Their relationship has also brought attention to the importance of marine conservation, inspiring others to view sea creatures as sentient beings rather than just marine life. One of the most amazing things about this fish is that it can tell humans apart. Scientists essentially showed the fish 2 images of humans and trained them to spit their jets at the pictures. The fish were able to distinguish between the 2 human faces, so they tried to make it even harder. They presented them with black and white images, and even still, they were able to tell the difference based on the head shapes. The fish showed an 86% accuracy level. Hiroyuki told the great big story, "I guess she knows that I saved her and that I helped her when she was badly injured. I think anyone can get an animal's attention by feeding them." Now it's time for today's topic. A team of divers exploring the mysterious depths of the North Sea has stumbled upon a discovery straight out of a nightmare. During a research expedition near a rarely explored trench, they encountered an unearthly creature that has left marine biologists both baffled and horrified. Nicknamed the tentacled abyssal horror, this deep-sea creature is unlike anything previously documented. Its body is adorned with dozens of long, glowing appendages that writhe menacingly in the pitch-black water. The glowing tips emit a ghostly bioluminescence, luring prey in the darkness. What's more unsettling is its face, sporting a wide, human-like grin and glowing, predatory eyes that seem to track movement with eerie precision. Covered in jagged spines, the creature appears to be a perfect apex predator in the abyssal depths. The divers, equipped with cutting-edge cameras, captured a brief but haunting image of the creature before it vanished back into the shadows. Scientists speculate this could be an entirely new species evolved for the crushing pressures and eternal darkness of the deep sea. However, its alien-like appearance has sparked online debates, with some suggesting it could be an elaborate hoax. This discovery has reignited fears among the diving community. The North Sea's icy, dark depths hide secrets most would prefer remain unseen, and this chilling encounter proves exactly why divers fear to venture into its uncharted waters. Number 8. Forest of the Weird. Next up, what if I told you that there was a forest beneath the sea? 7,700 feet beneath the surface area, this array of grass sponges in this footage taken by Noah's Okeanos Explorer. It says, "Every time we do these dives, all I can think about is this is the type of experience someone would have if they found life on another planet." These sponges are part of a deep-sea ecosystem that relies on marine snow, tiny particles of organic material that drift down from the surface. If you look closely, you can see that most of the plants are facing in the same direction. That's because they're facing the current and can catch plankton in this way. Their structure is uniquely adapted to filter out nutrients from the water while withstanding the immense pressure of the deep ocean. When you're diving underwater to see these, you're also kind of taking a trip back in time. Scientists believe these sponge communities have changed very little over millennia, offering a glimpse into ancient marine ecosystems. Some of these sponges are the oldest creatures ever on Earth and have been on this planet for 10,000 years. In fact, their longevity makes them valuable for studying historical changes in ocean chemistry and climate. Some species even produce compounds with potential medicinal uses, making them a focus of bioprospecting research. These ancient sponges not only support a variety of marine life, but also serve as an enduring testament to the resilience of life in one of Earth's harshest environments. It's a reminder of just how much of the deep ocean remains unexplored and mysterious. Number 7. Underwater laboratory. Some of the most amazing things found underwater are actually built by us humans. We have laboratories in the North Pole and even in space, so it's only natural that we also have one deep beneath the sea. This is Aquarius, and it was built beneath the sea. It was built in Victoria, Texas, in 1986. The laboratory has hosted more than 200 scientists from 90 different organizations, including NASA. What makes Aquarius truly unique is its ability to allow researchers to stay submerged for extended periods without needing to decompress after every dive. Its strategic location off the coast of Key Largo, Florida, provides scientists with direct access to the coral reef ecosystem for their research. So why would a space station want to tunnel underwater? Well, the very harsh conditions under the sea are not too different from traveling into space, so astronauts sometimes practice or prepare for spacewalks by traveling to the bottom of the sea. The underwater environment mimics the isolation, pressure, and confined quarters experienced in outer space. Scientists simply scuba dive to the bottom and enter it through an airlock. Inside the lab is a radio transmitter so they can communicate with another base on land. The lab also features bunk beds, a small kitchen, and workstations, offering everything necessary for extended underwater missions. Marine scientists live and work at this lab for sometimes up to 2 weeks. The record is 31 days. And you may have been thinking, does this have anything to do with this video's missing topic? Maybe the image contained an underground lab of some sort, but why do we not know about it? This mysterious underwater world raises questions about how much more might be hiding beneath the ocean's surface. Number 6. Gnome Cemetery. If you go deep sea diving off the coast of North England, you'll essentially find the last thing you would expect, a garden gnome. One of them was left down at the bottom of the sea, and it spiraled from there. Eventually, you could have a gnome cemetery down at the bottom of the sea. Divers who stumble upon these gnomes have reported an eerie sense of humor in their placement, as some are set up in playful scenes, like having tea or pointing at treasure maps etched in rocks. The gnomes have also become a game among scuba divers. They'll plant it down at the bottom of the sea in hopes that another person might find it. Over time, the gnomes have even been decorated with marine growth, with some sprouting small barnacles and algae, making them blend oddly with their surroundings. Because of this craze, authorities have even started removing gnomes, as the areas where they're left are actually quite dangerous. Environmental groups have also raised concerns, warning that the materials in the gnomes could harm local marine life if left unchecked. One gnome cemetery was completely removed, so divers built an even deeper garden gnome cemetery, daring the police to go down even deeper. Kenny McMahon, a member of the Northwest Police Underwater Search Unit, told the Boat News, "We went down there, put them in bags, and removed the lot. But now there's a rumor about a new garden beyond the 50-meter depth limit. As police divers, we can't legally dive any deeper, so if it exists, the new garden could have been purposefully put out of our reach." This ongoing game between divers and authorities has turned the gnomes into an unexpected symbol of underwater rebellion. Number 5. Haunted Blanket. One of the strangest things you could find underwater is what's known as the blanket octopus. As the name suggests, this is an octopus which looks remarkably like a washed-up blanket. The blanket is a long, fleshy cape which encloses the octopus's tentacles. The reason why it has this huge cape is that it can make itself look larger and thereby scare away predators. When threatened, the female blanket octopus unfurls its vibrant, flowing cape, which can reach impressive lengths, creating a mesmerizing display that disorients attackers. This defense mechanism is particularly effective against predators like larger fish or even sharks. However, this is the female blanket octopus. The male blanket octopus has no blanket at all and is about the size of a walnut at 2.4 centimeters. This is apparently the largest size difference between males and females in the entire animal kingdom. Males are so small and fragile that they rely on a specialized arm, called the hectocotylus, to deliver sperm to the female, detaching it after mating. The female, on the other hand, can grow to over 2 meters in length, showcasing a stark contrast between the sexes. But the strangeness of this octopus doesn't end there. When hunting prey, this octopus uses the tentacle from a toxic jellyfish to hunt other fish. It detaches the jellyfish's venomous tentacles and wields them like a whip, a testament to its resourcefulness. This unique hunting method suggests that these octopuses are quite intelligent. If you're diving and see these folks, you might want to keep a safe distance. Number 4. Creepy Whale Fall. Sunken boats create their own coral reef, but there are other things which do an even better job. When a whale dies, it simply sinks to the bottom of the ocean like a ship. But once the whale has fallen to the ground, something strange happens. What we might look at as a dead whale, other creatures across the ocean look at like food. One Natural History Museum London representative compares it to a Thanksgiving buffet. Like your family coming from all over the country for these events, different species come from all over the deep sea to feast on this huge amount of carbon that is just derived. Even deep-sea scavengers that typically feed on smaller prey are drawn to the site of a whale fall due to its immense bounty. In some cases, a single whale fall can support an entire ecosystem for up to 50 years, creating a rare opportunity for survival in the nutrient-starved depths. Giant isopods, which resemble oversized pill bugs, are known to swarm whale falls and gorge themselves to the point of immobility. Over time, The whale fall even becomes a hotspot for unique, newly discovered species, including certain bone-eating worms called ostacs that burrow into the skeleton to extract nutrients. Scientists studying whale falls have even theorized that these natural events may help sustain deep-sea biodiversity by acting as isolated islands of life in an otherwise barren expanse. So, the dead whale becomes an ecosystem of its own. They're called whale falls. Fish at the bottom of the ocean, like octopuses and worms, all start devouring the whale and even living around it. The whale fall ecosystem goes through 4 stages. First is the scavenger stage, where they begin eating the flesh of the whale. This is mainly inhabited by big fish. Second, the enrichment opportunist stage is where smaller organisms look for leftover tissues. They basically get the scraps. Third, you get the sulfophilic stage where bacteria and microbes start appearing on the whale fall. This can result in the whale turning into strange colors such as white, yellow, and orange. The last stage is the reef stage where some fish survive on fat from the bones. Number 3. Giant mouth sharks. Next up, we have one of the most dangerous-looking creatures in the water, the basking shark. It's the second largest fish in the world and is noticeable by its incredibly huge mouth. But despite its terrifying appearance, these creatures are largely harmless to humans. They mostly eat plankton, which they consume by simply keeping their mouths open and waiting for the plankton to float inside. Incredibly, a single basking shark can filter over 4 million pounds of water per hour through its gills to capture its tiny meals. These gentle giants can grow up to 40 feet long, making them roughly the size of a school bus. Despite their size, they are surprisingly agile swimmers, often seen cruising near the surface in groups during feeding season. Interestingly, basking sharks have been observed to migrate thousands of miles across oceans, traveling between feeding and breeding grounds. They are known to dive to depths of over 3,000 feet, but they are most commonly spotted near the surface in coastal areas. These sharks can weigh over 10,000 pounds, which is the same weight as 5 great white sharks. Their skin is rough and sandpaper-like, much like other sharks, which helps protect them from external injuries. They can also jump outside of water. These sharks can jump over a meter above the water surface and usually do this to clean off parasites. Their impressive leaping ability is not just practical but also a sight to behold for lucky observers. So, don't let looks deceive you. These guys are relatively friendly. Number 2. Sunken freighter. And at the bottom of the sea, there will undoubtedly also be sunken ships. In 2019, the 180-foot Voisey Bernadette freighter sank in 100 feet of water in St. Lucie County, Florida. This boat was confiscated by authorities as it was believed to be used for smuggling drugs. They essentially had a boat that they didn't know what to do with, so they decided to put it to good use. The authorities deliberately sank the entire boat to the ocean floor and turned it into an artificial coral reef. Today, the wreck has become a haven for marine life, attracting schools of snapper, grouper, and barracuda. Divers have reported spotting sea turtles and even the occasional shark circling the area, making it a popular destination for underwater exploration. When you sink a ship to the bottom of the seafloor, it provides a new hard surface for algae and barnacles to live on. Coral polyps have already started colonizing parts of the ship's structure, adding vibrant colors to its metallic surfaces. This algae and barnacles could provide food for other fish who will decide to also live near the ship. In time, the ship's cabins and nooks have become hideaways for small critters like crabs and shrimp, adding another layer of biodiversity. Those fish, in turn, might be hunted by even bigger fish, and by then, you've basically created a new reef or ecosystem under the sea. Once run by gangsters, the boat now literally sleeps with the fishes. Number 1. Deep Sea River. We now move on to one of the most amazing diving spots in the world. Cancun itself is a dream location for divers, but one particular spot is truly incredible. Cenote Angelita looks like a small pond but actually goes 66 meters underground. Once the river reaches 27 meters below the surface, a thick hydrogen sulfide cloud begins to emerge. This eerie, milky white layer creates an otherworldly visual effect, separating the fresh water above from the salty water below. Divers describe the sensation of breaking through this cloud as entering an entirely different realm, where the light dramatically shifts and visibility becomes surreal. The water is so different that it's as if it's a river beneath another river. There are colorful foliage and branches coming from the river. Ancient artifacts and remains have even been discovered in this cenote, hinting at its historical and cultural significance. When you see scuba divers swimming down to the river, it looks like they're flying in the air. A reviewer on escubabord.com said, "As you emerge, the water is so clear that you feel like you're above water and almost feel like taking off your mask. You swim around a little, half in the cloud and half out, and the experience is just magical." And in ancient times, they believed that this water was literally magical. The ancient Mayan people who roamed Mexico many years ago used to celebrate religious rites at this river. This even included human sacrifices. As you can imagine, this site is only reserved for the most experienced divers. Which of these underwater discoveries surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to check out our other videos showing up on the screen, and I'll see you next time.